beautiful friends. My name is Carrie Cox, and welcome to my channel where I help people use their personal power to build a connection between mind, body, and spirit. In today's video, we are going to do a card reading for the Saturn Retrograde 2021. Saturn will go retrograde on Sunday, May 23rd through October 10th in the sign of Aquarius. This reading will be for the Saturn retrograde. This reading will be about how this Saturn retrograde will impact you. And Saturn retrograde this year is about karmic rebalancing. So how this is going to impact you is what this reading is going to be for. A short disclaimer, just remember that this is a reading for the collective and that you are going to take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't, because if it doesn't resonate with you, then it was meant for someone else. So I'm going to provide the messages and you will use your own discernment to decide whether this message was meant for you or not. So take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. This is used for educational purposes only. So when Saturn goes direct, Saturn's helping you to stay on track and steer you in the right direction. But when Saturn goes retrograde, you need to prepare because he is testing you. And we have to set good boundaries for the retrograde, because challenges are going to come up during the retrograde, and it's more about you setting boundaries and then surrendering to the energy, to the retrograde, and realizing that, these challenges and obstacles are coming up because it's an opportunity to heal something. So it's an opportunity during the retrograde to really grow, to have soul growth. But when Saturn is in retrograde, it is challenging and it is tiring, and we may feel a lot of pressure. And so during the retrograde, it's really going to be about honoring yourself. Don't let others pressure you into anything that makes you uncomfortable. And then things will come full circle, because this really is about karmic rebalancing. So Astrology King says that this retrograde will be about karmic rebalancing and that previous bad behavior will be punished. So the 2021 Saturn retrograde is going to square Uranus. And because of that, it's going to bring change and disruption, which means obstacles. So we may be a little challenged over the next 5 months, but we have to remember that this is for our own good. Within this square to Uranus, there's going to be a Moon, Venus, and North Node trining, which is going to help us overcome these challenges and help us to find closure on our past karma. So these challenges and obstacles that are going to be brought up are going to be about getting rid of these negative and limited beliefs, behaviors, and patterns that we've been carrying around for lifetimes and lifetimes. I went ahead and used my herb crafting cards, because these cards, when I use them, I am talking directly to Saturn with these cards usually, and have been since Saturn and Jupiter met up back in December. And so these messages are coming right from Saturn himself. And Saturn is letting us know right off the bat that this is going to be a time of awakening. Some of us are going to experience spiritual awakenings for the first time. Some of us are going to have another Kundalini awakening happening. If you're my twin flames out there, you may experience another Kundalini awakening. These Kundalini awakenings, you don't just ever have just one. Every time we have another awakening, it takes us to another level of consciousness. And this could be happening for some of us during this Saturn retrograde. And it's going to help us clear some of this karma that is being asked to be cleared. For some of us, this awakening through this retrograde is going to result in another layer of our spiritual gifts and abilities coming out. I really feel like that's going to happen within this first month of the retrograde. You could be awakening to some of your gifts that you didn't know you had, or a deeper aspect of those same gifts that you already knew you had. It may help you to bring in your life purpose just a little more clearer so you could see it a little bit better. Saturn is really saying that during this retrograde, we need to start freeing our life from anything that's keeping us from that purpose. We're here for a reason and we have a life purpose. And if we are doing things or not working on our inner transformation and our inner growth, anything that is in our life that's keeping us from that purpose, we need to start freeing ourselves from that. We need to start letting go of the things that are holding us back. And those things can be other people, they could be jobs, they could be belief systems. And during this retrograde, we're really going to have a calling to really take care of our own well-being. Spirit wants us to awaken to a higher consciousness, and Saturn's going to help us awaken to that higher consciousness during this retrograde. He is saying to keep on hand during this awakening. He's letting us know that in this first card, it's showing Tulsi. He's saying that it's a time to be drinking Tulsi tea, because Tulsi tea is going to help us restore good health and bring our body into balance with spirit. We want to balance our body, mind, and spirit. And Tulsi is a great way to do that. It enhances our memory, it restores our energy, and it clears toxins. So Saturn is saying to really get in a habit of drinking some Tulsi tea during this retrograde. And during this retrograde, if you're being called to rest, then you need to listen to that calling. You need to rest. If you're being called to clear karma and work on inner healing, then clear the karma and work on the inner healing. Whatever you're being called to do during this retrograde, Saturn is saying surrender to it. Feel into it. Be in your body. Be taking care of yourself during it. The second card that the second message Saturn's giving us is the Six of Earth card, which has pine on it. And the Six of Earth card is really about keeping ourselves grounded in our community and sharing resources with one another. All of our generosity is going to circle back to us because this is a time of rebalancing our karma. Everything's going to circle back around. So everything from past, present, and future is going to circle back around. If people have been behaving in a not so good way, that is going to circle back to them. And if you've been very generous, that's going to circle back to you. So this card is really showing that it's now a good time to share what we have. So we have the summer solstice coming up in June, and I'm really feeling like that's going to be a time to gather with our friends, to celebrate, to share with our friends, celebrate what we have, be around like-minded people. If you're on a spiritual journey, gather your spiritual friends around you during that time, because it's really about celebrating and having spiritual rituals with one another, honoring those people, honoring our friends, honoring our family and the land that's been given to us, that's provided security for us and foundation and resources. So it's going to be a time to gather with our community, teach what we know to one another, and look for ways to share our abundance with our community, with our friends in this time of celebration. The third message that Saturn has for us is this Four of Fire card that has Elder on it. And this Four of Fire card is about creating a special ceremony. It's about creating magic and rituals, and going back to that Six of Earth, it was about sharing that with our community. So it's about sharing that magic and those special ceremonies with our friends and community, and then also with ourselves. It's about honoring ourselves and creating this safe space to make that magic. So setting up a sacred space in your home, somewhere where you could go to and, take a moment to have gratitude and thanks. We have Elder on the card, and Elder provides protection. So we really want to create a lot of protection around ourselves during this retrograde. Part of Saturn retrograde is about setting boundaries. So make sure you're protecting yourself by setting those boundaries during this retrograde. Especially if you're already feeling drained, you really want to be creating this safe space where you can recharge and then set those boundaries. Because if you don't, this is already going to be a tough time until October. If you don't set those boundaries, you're really going to have a tough time during the Saturn retrograde. And we have Elder on this card, and elderberry syrup is a remedy that heals our body. And when our body has been weakened by invaders in our immune system, our life force energy will start to be lowered. And so elderberry syrup is a great remedy that can help us strengthen our immune system. We need to build a foundation that will sustain our work so that we can create the life we desire. So we really need to take care of ourselves, and we really need to go back to nature to do that. Look at things like elderberry syrup for strengthening our immune system, especially where we have this vaccine going on and viruses out there. You want to protect yourself, but you want to do it naturally with things from the earth like elderberry, not things that are man-made full of chemicals that are going to hurt us in the long run. And Saturn is really saying, open your eyes to that. Be aware of what's going on in your surroundings. And his fourth message for us is this card with seaweed on it, the Curandera of water. And what this card is saying is it's saying, don't live in the shadows, live in the depths. Strengthen your bones in the ocean's ebb and flow, and rock gently on the water, heed the siren song. This is a message that we need to flow through life. This is a message to help us to flow through this Saturn retrograde, to know that there is going to be ups and downs through it. But the Curandera, she neither hides her feelings or lets them overtake her. She understands that emotions have cycles and that she easily navigates their changes. So this is a calling for us to navigate through these changes, through these challenges, by allowing us to flow through those ups and downs, taking time to rest when we need the rest, making time for those daily rituals that are going to help us through those challenges and through the deep healing. You know, those daily rituals could look something like clearing energy, taking spiritual showers, or using sage and Palo Santo to clear our energy, grounding ourselves outside by standing outside for 20 minutes with our feet on the ground or in the grass. Those types of things are going to help bring calm and peace into your life and increase your well-being during this retrograde. Remember, this retrograde is about honoring yourself, not falling into the pressures of other people. So setting those boundaries. Okay, let's pull a couple cards to see what is going to be impacting us during this retrograde. Saturn is saying integrating all that creative fire is like igniting a flaming pinwheel of fireworks. When everything is out front and all creative ideas are equally respected and celebrated, pure combustion occurs. And there's that celebrated again. So he's really calling us to celebrate and to share. And I'm really I keep seeing summer solstice, and I even see it like in this card. With these elements coming together in such a powerful way, expect an explosive finale. Like the strength key in the major arcana, the Eight of Flames is ready to seize the moment, prepared to strike when the iron is hot. The wheels of creation are turning and something is about to pop. Feel the power of that energy whizzing around a central point, about to culminate in an explosion of creative fire. This key is also complemented by the Great Wheel in the Major Arcana, which speaks on a grander scale of the ending of a great cycle and the beginning of another. Are you ready to bring to conclusion this great work you have been involved in? What spiritual lessons have you gleaned from the process and the journey? Are you ready to let go, knowing you have reached a culmination in this experience? It is time to take a break, step back, and get new insights. And that is what is going to happen during this retrograde. You're going to let go of these 3D paradigms, of these old beliefs, these things that don't serve you. It's about healing those and letting go of this past karma so that these new things can come in. This is about one cycle ending and another one beginning. Okay, Saturn's saying he's got another message. Aha. We have transition. So transition is the same as the death card in the regular tarot, and that definitely shows the ending of a cycle. With the Saturn retrograde, we are ending a karmic cycle. But with this ending of a cycle, it's showing that there's something new, something unknowable beginning. And you could see that on the card, there's a spirit that's moving through a tunnel. And the last card we just had, I totally see a portal. So we have two cards that show portals. So definitely something big is about to begin. We're transitioning from the old to the new. We're moving into a new cycle, coming through a new portal. We're transmuting form. I see alchemy here is what I see. And new life is arising. We are no longer going to feel confined by this physical reality. We're going to move through this portal, and coming out the backside of Saturn retrograde, we are going to feel liberated from that box that some of us have felt like we've been in, because we're no longer confining ourselves in this 3D reality. We know now for sure within ourselves that we have moved into the 5D. And that's what's happening at the end of this retrograde, is we're transitioning through that portal from the 3D to the 5D. And so this retrograde is really going to be a time to ask yourself, what is ending now, and how can I transform my grief into a higher understanding of this process? What needs to change in my life? What do I need to let go of in order to grow? What is it that I fear I am going to lose? How am I coping? And what am I learning about the meaning of immortality and my life and my purpose of being here? This reading is really showing us that this Saturn retrograde is going to be just absolutely amazing. It's going to raise our level of consciousness to the next level. But, with any kind of retrograde, there's going to be a lot of challenges that come up. But this reading is really showing us that if we really focus on, looking at the perspective of this is for my soul growth, and that I'm going to be okay in the end, and I'm going to make it through this. And if I surrender to these challenges and to my soul growth, that this is all for my highest good, and my life's about to change, and it's about to change for the better, because I'm about to release and let go of karmic crap that I've been carrying around for lifetimes that I don't want to carry around anymore. I'm moving out of this 3D reality of these limited beliefs, and I'm expanding my mind. I'm expanding my soul, and I'm moving to a whole nother level. That is exciting. So when we start to feel down or depressed during this retrograde, we have to remember that coming out the other side is this beautiful transition where where our soul is going to transform. And we're going to end this reading with a blessing, a Namaste blessing message from Saturn. And this couldn't be more perfect. A blessing from your soul. You are a beautiful soul full of infinite wisdom. Stop judging and start loving yourself. You are blessed with endless potential and on the verge of transforming into the radiant being that is your true essence. Shine your light and allow this blessing into your heart. It couldn't be more perfect. What a way to end this Saturn retrograde this October. My beautiful souls, just remember that we're all in this together, that this is going to happen on an individual level, but this is also going to happen on a collective level. And so this truly is a blessing for all of us. So surrender, set boundaries, open your heart, and let that light shine through. Love and light. Namaste.